القرآن للذكر فهل من مدكر.
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. So in this video, we are continuing the lesson of Idghaam. So in the previous lesson or the previous video, we covered the Idghaam in which the last letter of the first word and the first letter of the second word are the same. However, there's a second type of Idghaam that we have in the recitation according to the way of Hafs and Asim. By the way, you are learning the recitation of Hafs and Asim. So the recitation of Asim from the way of Hafs, if you need to know that as well. Okay, so in addition to the letters which are the same, meaning the last letter of the first word and the second letter of the first letter of the second word merging together, there are also some special cases. These are when letters are merged because they are very similar. Okay, so we'll take the example of Qaf and Kaf. We know that Qaf and Kaf are very, very similar, number one, in sound and also from the place of articulation. And what that means is that from the place in which their sound comes from. So we know that the Qaf comes from the furthest part of the mouth. So the furthest part of the tongue touching the furthest part of the palate equals the letter Qaf. And the Kaf is very, very close to that. In fact, it's almost the same place. It's just a little bit further from there. So further out of the mouth, further forward, if that makes more sense to you. So if you say Qaf, it's right at the back. Kaf, it's just a little bit more forward. Okay, the place where the tongue touches the palate. So because these are very similar in their place of articulation, then they will be joined together. And the examples, for example, have been given with ta and dal here. If we see this ta merges into the dal, so we see here أثقلت دعوة, أثقلت دعوة. You don't say أثقلت دعوة. Okay, you miss the ta completely because the sound gets merged into and assimilated into the dal. So the lam, the fatha of this lam, goes straight into the dal. And this you will see normally in the Arabic recitation of printing of the Quran, that the last letter does have no sakin. In fact, in the previous one as well, the last letter has no sakin on it. Just go back so you can see. So you can see the last letter has no sakin. It will come back to our current lesson. You can see the last letter has no sakin. So that's how we know that this fatha or whatever the haraka is going to be joined onto the first letter of the second word. So if you have a look here, you got ta, which goes into dal and ta, dal, which goes into ta, ta, which goes into ta, dhal, which goes into dha, tha into dhal, ba into mim, lam into ra. Okay, so let's go through these examples and you can repeat with me. I'm going to say each one 3 times, inshallah. أثقل الدعوى, أثقل الدعوى, أثقل الدعوى. أجيبت دعوتكما, أجيبت دعوتكما, أجيبت دعوتكما. So we can see the ba is going straight into the dal. Try this one. يلهث ذلك, يلهث ذلك, يلهث ذلك, يلهث ذلك. إذ ظلمتم, إذ ظلمتم, إذ ظلمتم. So we're missing the dhal completely. Now this has the long mad on it. Even though it's not written, it does have a long mad on it. فآمنت طائفة, فآمنت طائفة, فآمنت طائفة. عبدتم, عبدتم, عبدتم. Now this one is a special case because with this letter, where the ta is a very heavy letter, then the ta, some of the ta gets continued. You read some of the ta, and the ta, you also read it as well. This should have a shadda on it as well. For some reason it's been missed, but let's just say, for example, it does have a shadda on it. Inshallah, in your one, I will correct it and you will be able to see the shadda. So we can see this is, when we read it, and if you concentrate very, very closely, you will hear some of the heaviness of the ta, but I won't say it completely. Okay, and then I'll merge it into the ta. Farrattum, farrattum, farrattum. Okay, so if I was doing a complete merging, it would be farrattum, farrattum, but we're going to carry some of the ta into this merging, yeah? Farrattum, farrattum. So you can see that there's a slight essence of the ta when it goes into the ta. This is called Idghaam naqis. You don't need to worry about it for now. But all you need to know is that when we're saying the ta into the ta, then you need to do this. Okay? This is wajib according to the way of Hafs. Now, this one is starting with the kasra for reasons that you will learn later on. Irkam ma'ana. Irkam ma'ana. Irkam ma'ana. Don't forget we have the ghanna here. Irkam ma'ana. So now that you've seen these examples, what I want you to do is to go to the Quran, okay, and I want you to find examples. So here we've got the exercise in which you will actually be reading this to your sheikh, to your teacher, okay. But I also want you to go to the Quran, copy of the Quran, and find examples of this idgham where the letters are the same, and this idgham where the letters are different, for your own reference. And inshallah, in part 2 of this qaida, so in part 2 of this introduction for Quranic reading, you should do this. You should go into the Quran and find examples of what you have learnt here. Because when you find your own examples and you are able to identify them, especially this one where the letters are different, then inshallah, this will become very, very strong. And in language teaching, because ultimately this is language teaching, we call that free practice. Okay, so this is what we call controlled practice, because you are doing controlled practice on 2 words. Okay, just trying to learn the concept. But free practice, and also this is free practice, but it's not because I have given you the words. Yeah, but if you go into the Quran and you do free practice on your own, and this is where you will actually learn it properly. So inshallah, you should start doing free practice yourself. Go into the Quranic copies after each lesson has been learnt, after you have done all the exercises, and do free practice and find examples yourself. Okay? Alhamdulillah.
Salam Alykum. Be sure to download your free implementation workbook. We go through it step by step. All the videos correspond with it. We have laid it out very strategically so you can master Quranic Tajweed and Quranic Mastery and implement it while you go along. Okay, so be sure to download this and it will help you on your journey. It's free to download. The link should be in the description. Assalamu alaikum. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please like this video so we know you enjoy it, as we can make more. Please write a comment and tell us what you thought about the lesson. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe now. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.